All right. Hey, how's it, everybody? It is right around 5 p.m. West Coast time. I'm going to call it 2 p.m. Hawaii time, 8 p.m. on that there East Coast, and 7 p.m. for our Central Time folk. I'm Mad Statter today, and this is Chatter with Statter. Good to see we've got a couple people in the house. Katie's Aura, been a minute since we've seen you. So happy you're here. Pernell writes things coming in with Terry in Scotland on that raid, and I'm going to guess that perhaps, just perhaps, Midnight Frequency Radio was also coming in on that raid. Looks like Terry is here saying meow. Ashes, Dusty, and Leo. I saw Leo just the other night, probably Sunday night, right after the stream. He came in. He's looking a little skinny these days, but it is summer, and that is when all the cats are lean and in their mean fighting form, as it were. And Pernell, meow meow to Tareen. Glad to see you that you're here. I don't think any of the kitties are in the house right now. I think they're all enjoying the backyard. I need to post a picture of Dusty. I have a big pile of grass that fell out of the wheelbarrow in my backyard, and he has taken it he's created this little nest, and so he's quite the odd bird in a very large nest. He's just so cute. I've got quite a few pictures. I haven't uploaded them to my computer yet, but I need to do that so you can see how cute the little kitty is, the strange bird in his nest. And Terry in Scotland, thank you so much for that 1,000 biddies. Rick, hey, good to see you. Good to see you. All right, well, it looks like we've got a couple people here, so why don't we get the party started, shall we? Let's do it. Boop. Okay, there we go. Alrighty, so I don't remember exactly. Yep, there's one black kitty, exactly. We've always got those black kitties with us, but I don't think there's any in the actual homestead yet. But it's going to be their dinner time pretty soon, so I have no doubt in my mind that they will be coming in eventually soon. Hey, Darlene, good to see you. Let's see here. So, for those of you who were here last stream, we kind of went off on a tangent about, hey there, Pacola T, lazy float down the Yakima River today. Good. No rattlesnakes. Even better. I'm assuming that you're not on the camping trip. You're just, Pacola T, are you camping? Or are you somewhere are you camping, Pacola T? Anyway, good to know that you had the beautiful trip down the Yakima River. I'm hoping that you're in a hotel, though. That's what I am hoping. And, let's see here. So, completely got distracted. Oh, yes. So, last stream, we talked for a quick minute, and actually for more than a quick minute, about hairstyles that the kids are wearing, right? And so, and we were talking about the Edgar and the broccoli head. And I showed you a drawing of what the broccoli head is supposed to be, but so here, hold on, let's do this. So for reference, this is the broccoli haircut, right? And Andre was saying, oh, it's like the Edgar. And I was like, I don't really know, because I don't really know what the Edgar is. And so we took a look at the broccoli haircut, and this was what the broccoli haircut is all about. But the Edgar haircut that Andre was talking about, it is similar but different. That is the Edgar haircut. And so if you're seeing this terrible, that's an Edgar mullet, by the way. And oh wait, that wasn't supposed to be in there. But wait, why are those Edgars are not supposed to be in the broccolis? No, those broccolis aren't supposed to be in the Edgars, but that's an Edgar. And apparently that's an Edgar. But I don't know, you guys. The Edgar haircuts to me are really ugly. I mean, that bang has got to go. So, if you see the kids wearing super ugly hair, just know it's probably a variant of the Edgar. And this is what Edgar left us. I don't know if it's Edgar Martinez. I don't know who this Edgar guy is. But I don't like his hair. And so, just thought I'd clarify the Edgar versus the broccoli. They kind of blend into one another once the Edgar gets curly on top. They're similar but different. But similar but different. So now you understand completely, right? All right, exactly. And Pussycat in the house making pre-made dinners for Kylo, wrapping up the chicken, rice, spinach, potatoes, and eggs mixed together. Then you made dinners and breakfast portions for the next 3 weeks. You freeze it, and take it out when you need it. Yep, that's what my boss does too with her dogs. Absolutely. And exactly, Midnight Frequency Radio, I swear to God, I honestly think there's such an anti-sideburns situation going on here that they're probably eventually going to like shave their head all the way through to the middle, and that it'll be an anti-sideburns strip just cutting all the way across their head, and that'll be the latest fad. Yeah, I don't like the way the kids are wearing their hair these days. Could I be any older? Darlene, I don't like the undercut at all. Exactly. I mean, like, but to each their own. Precisely. I didn't like it. Do y'all remember when George Clooney got that Caesar haircut with the super short bangs? Oh, God. I just hate that look. I don't care if George Clooney's wearing it. I don't care if the kids are wearing it today. I do not like it, Sam I Am. I do not like it with my green eggs and ham. I just do not. Terry, you are not going to get a reverse mohawk. Do not. And exactly Midnight Frequency, I don't get off my lawn. But, Terry, don't do that. Don't do a middle thing. You'll regret it. And I know you're not serious, but just in case you are, don't do that. Don't do that at all. Yeah, the Pontius Pilate look is ridiculous. Yes, exactly. Yeah, so now that we're done critiquing men's haircuts, there's not really a whole lot to talk about today that I have in mind. But I was thinking about letting you guys know what it is about my neighbor that pissed me off so badly. And if y'all are interested, then I could let you know. But before we get into that, I want to warn you, if we go there, this episode will be a very special episode of Chatter with Statter. Do you remember how, like, in the 80s when they had sitcoms that suddenly on one week dealt with a very serious topic of drug abuse or blah, 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 blah. Well, this will be, it's not about it's sort of about drug abuse. Anyway, this will be a very special episode of Chatter with Statter. This will contain adult topics and themes, not suitable for children, and I'm not talking about appliances or home repair. So, and yeah, Rick, exactly. Recommend taking plenty of pictures of those kid haircuts for laughing rights later on. Absolutely. And by the way, I absolutely reserve the right to make fun of kids' haircuts these days, because the hair that we had in my day, absolutely make funnable. I mean, I look at it now and it's like, oh my God, what were we thinking? So it's funny. Hair is funny. It's meant to be laughed at. But yes, so Pacola tea. Yes, spill some tea. Okay, so my neighbor across the street, as it turns out, his name is Marcus. I will be using his name because there's no need to protect people who are not innocent. So, Marcus, I have told you about him before. He is the one who does wraps on cars. Like, he has a side business where he does wraps. I thought that Are there photos involved with my neighbor? No, no photos, no photos. This is all just story time. Anyway, so my neighbor, as it turns out, I thought he did this for a living. I thought he did wraps on cars for a living. He does not. That's his side hustle. He's actually a welder. He's a welder for a subcontractor for Boeing. But he cannot get a job at Boeing because he has a domestic violence charge against him and a criminal record. So, Boeing won't hire him. I know this not because I did a background check, but because he told me. When did he tell me? Last November. Last November, I was in the bar. I have never met this gentleman before, and I don't know why I just called him a gentleman. I never met my neighbor before. I just knew who he was. I've never said hello to him before, back before November. I look at my neighbors like an invisible wall is at their property line. I don't see what's going on. Like I might see, yeah, there's people there, but I'm not nosy like that. I mind my own business and I hope that they mind theirs. I don't really pay a lot of attention unless it's obvious, like, wow, that's a bright pink car that you're doing work on. I can't help but notice that. Anyway, I was in the bar. The bar was pretty empty. And I was talking to this woman named Kenesha. She was another regular. And this guy, who I don't recognize at all, comes into the bar and walks right up to Kenesha and I, and he's like, I'm your neighbor. So I said to Kenesha, I was like, oh, hey, this guy thinks he's your neighbor. Do you know him? And he was like, no, not her, you, he says to me. So I was like, oh. And then I was like, oh, do you live in that house, across blah, blah, blah. Because I know who my other neighbors are, whereas I didn't know who, and he's like, yeah, I live there. And so Kenesha and I talked for a little while, and then Kenesha left. So he's like 3 or 4 bar seats down from me. I'm at the far end of the bar. At the other end of the bar is the bartender and 2 other regulars. One of the regulars I do not like. He's a creepy old man who says really inappropriate things, and I just don't like him. And I'm telling you this for a reason that will be revealed later on. So, and that guy's name is JJ. Anyway, so Marcus is telling me he's drinking double shots of Crown Royal, I think 4 of them, and he's telling me things, and that's when he lets loose the information about criminal background, can't get hired at Boeing, domestic violence charge. But of course, it was all explainable, and he didn't do anything, it just blah, blah, blah. You know how the story goes. So, and frankly, I don't care. Like, I'm not trying to do anything or whatever. So, he then moves his way closer to me, whips out his dick, and wants me to start touching it. He's like, come on, you want to, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to come over to your house and make you suck it. And blah, blah, blah. And he was very aggressive. And so I grabbed it and I went to flick it with my finger. And, hey, Thomas Turtle, good to see you. You're coming in at a very interesting point of the story. So I go to flick it with my index finger. And as I'm going to flick it with my index finger, I think to myself, oh, you meant to choose your middle finger. The index finger doesn't flick hard enough. And so then I missed it with the first flick. So then, hey, Verity. Yeah, exactly, y'all. So, so then I grabbed it again and then flicked it with my middle finger, and I flicked it hard, and he was like, ow. And he kind of jumped back. But, and then I was all pushing him away, and I was like, I have a man, I was like, he's a Mexican motorcycle rider, and which is just a silly thing to say, but at the same time, sometimes men respond and respect other men's property more than they respect a woman saying no. So that's why I was saying that. And so then he's just like, oh, what, that guy who rides that motorcycle who comes over to your house? He's not Mexican, he's white. And that kind of freaked me out because the dude that I was referring to hadn't been to my house for a year on his motorcycle. He got into a horrible accident, almost died, broke both of his legs, almost broke his back. Like, he hadn't been riding his motorcycle for a year at that point. And so that told me that he'd been like watching my house intently enough for over a year to think that he knew, you know, what race this guy is. And by the way, he isn't, well, he's a quarter white, and he was really pissed off. He was pissed when I told him about it. He was pissed off at two things. One, that happened to me. And two, he's like, God damn it, I hate it when people think I'm white, because he's not white. Anyway, so then he went in on me. I ended up having to bite his ear and bite his arm before he would let go of me. And then I skedaddled into a different part of the restaurant. Anyway, by the time I got back into the restaurant or the bar, he was gone. I don't know what happened when he was or whatever. AKA Mongol. And actually he's not, you know, he's not part of any gang, but I kind of wanted to make it sound like he was, you know, I'm not gonna lie. It was grasping at straws in franticness where words were sort of just coming out of my mouth. Anyway, so I was sitting there with my flustered thoughts, and then Judy, the bartender, noted. I was like, "Hey, can I get another beer?" So she turned away from talking to the two other regulars at the far end of the bar, and she went and got me a beer. And I was like, "Oh my God, you'll never believe what happened." And so I told them what happened, because nobody saw it. No, not one person saw it happening. And so then I said what happened, and then JJ, the guy who's the creep, who I don't like, he, the thing is nobody knew. He was already gone by the time the bartender, Judy, found out what he had done. He was already gone. So but yes, if he comes back, Judy won't let him in, and the other bartender, Shar, she doesn't know who he is, but if somebody tells her that that's who that is, he will not be, he's not allowed back in the bar. That's for sure. But nobody saw it except for me. And so, I know I did. I did. And even after I did, and actually I will admit this, after I did that, I was like, oh no, because some guys are kind of weird. And it was like, oh, I hope he's not into that kind of thing. Luckily, I don't think he was, because he did say, ow, and he jumped back. So that was good. But his threatening to come across the street and make me suck it, and him making it very clear that he's been watching my house for over a year, ultimately made me very uncomfortable in my home. I had started, I avoid going back. I avoid going outside when I know he's there. I avoid taking my garbage down when he's in the garage. He's oftentimes in his garage because his side hustle is doing those car wraps. And so, I did think about, calling, anyway, so after I told the people what happened, JJ, the creep that I don't like, he just outright looked at me seriously and said the ugly thing that nobody normally wants to say. And he looked at me and he just said, "You were just sexually assaulted." And I was like, no, I was like, that's not, but, and I later looked it up, like the legal definition. I totally was. Absolutely, I was. But hearing him say that, the creep of all creeps, he was the one who said it, and it was very comforting to hear, to be confirmed with, there's a reason why you're feeling all swirly right now and things are chaotic in your emotions, like something just happened to you. And then he even went on, he's like, look, I know I'm a creep. He says, I know I say things that are inappropriate. He's like, But what I do isn't against the law. I know what the law is, and I know not to cross that line. And so he basically confirmed that he is a creepy creep who always a creepy creeperson, but at the same time, he was the one who said the ugly thing that most people wouldn't have wanted to say out loud. And I have to say, I really appreciate him for that. And I have a whole new respect for his creepy ass. I'm not saying I like him. I'm not saying that, but I am more fond of him now than I was prior. I was very thankful that he was the one who, or that somebody, I mean, it was ironic that he was the one. I'm very thankful that somebody just cut to the chase and said, this is what just happened to you. And so, anyway, I tried to sort of downplay it. And quite honestly, if he didn't live across the street from me, I probably would have written this off as like, oh my God, just like another thing that a drunk dude does. Oh, and I forgot even to tell you guys the best part. No, it's not the best part at all. So, he told me that night that his fiance, because yeah, he's not single, y'all. He's not single. His fiance, who he lives with, she was about ready to pop. Meaning she was super pregnant with her baby. She has since had the baby. I've seen her outside with said baby. So he's a real class act, isn't he though? Oh yeah, you know. And I want to have, you know, wouldn't it be a shame if something happened to all those nice cars in his driveway that belong to customers? I have these evil thoughts. But I'm not going to do anything about it because everybody has a Ring camera. The only thing that I've done is I've fed the crows in my yard with hopes that they'll go poop in his, okay? I will admit I have upped my feeding of the crows in hopes that they go poo on his fancy cars that are in his yard. I admit this. This is the only revenge I'm getting, okay? Pussycat, call the police. Well, here's the deal, dude. No one saw it. No one saw it. It's a total he said, she said. And when it comes to cases of sexual assault, women who have actual biological evidence, be it bruising, be it other kinds of evidence, they have a hard enough time getting prosecutions to happen. Now, the statute of limitations hasn't ended. I'm not saying I won't call the police, but I haven't because I just didn't, yeah, exactly, Thomas, Ariel Crow, and Pussycat, no, there is not a camera in the bar. Pussycat, they don't even have a cash register in the bar. They have, they have a coffee can. So, no. No, this is a very old school bar. There's no cameras in the bar. And so since nobody saw it, it just is a little bit of a headache to go that route. That being said, it's not off the table. If he does anything untoward or to piss me off, I absolutely will be filing a complaint. I just, am fearful of the headache that it will cause in the neighborhood. There's just a lot of, yeah, thing. Shock, exactly. Yeah, words are hard here tonight. Yeah, it's just, it's not off the table that I'm going to call the cops, but I probably won't. And so, let's see here. Be a bit more cautious. Don't let the possibility for something happening later. For he's going to know who said what and who might hold it against you. Yeah, and Andre, you're sweet. I'd like to be in Burien right now. Yeah, exactly. And no, exactly, dude. Midnight Frequency Radio. Yeah, he was weird. Who the hell does something like that? Exactly. Well, and the thing is, like I said, I could almost. This is me being completely disheartened and sexist, but like, I can almost write it. I could almost have written it off as a super drunk, horny guy who hasn't been able to get laid by his wife because she's so pregnant, did something stupid at the bar. But he lives across the street from me. I have to think about this all the time. He threatened to come over to my house. Those are, those are kind of the things that make it harder to just write off, right? And yeah, Andre, you probably know exactly what yeah, there's only one house. Yeah, there's only one house with all the wrapped cars in the yard, right? And let's see here. I just got here and was only reacting to the fact me, my spouse, and you are all speaking with difficulty. Oh, right. Well, there you go. Yeah, well, we're also shocked, just so you know, if you got here right now. This is, I don't know if you remember this, back in the 80s when Blossom had a very special episode, or Different Strokes had a very special episode. This is a very special episode of Chatter with Statter, where I get to discuss why I don't want to see my neighbor anymore. And so what I'm doing is I'm going to therapy and talking to my therapist about him. But also, I've got I told you all about this. I've got what is it called? A planter, a garden, a raised garden bed. That's what I've got. I've got a raised garden bed in front of my house, and I'm growing sunflowers in it. So there will be a barrier of flowers between my front door and his line of sight. So that is my plan. It's the privacy screen. Nice. Jesus. Privacy screen for the queen bee. Ah, wow, words are hard. All right, thank you so much, Andre, for the 700 biddies. And Terry, I missed your story. Okay, hold on. Terry in Scotland had a story that I missed, but I found it. Years ago in Austin, a dude came up to the checkout at 7-Eleven and placed a can of corn and a loaf of bread on the counter. Oh, then he put his pecker beside them. Without missing a beat, the girl at the register calmly picked up the corn and slammed it down on his pecker. There we go. The dude screeched in pain and passed out. And the cops came to survey the mangled dangler. One commented, yes, he should have only bought the bread. Exactly. And why should you suffer any trauma to justify his actions? Is he worth it? Well, I mean, not sure as hell isn't worth it to me, but I've already suffered, as it were, and I just, and honestly, I would like to just forget about it, and getting law enforcement involved, that's the last flippin' thing that would be able to forget about it, et cetera, et cetera. But like I said, if I haven't ruled it out. And to answer your question, Midnight Frequency Radio, no, I do not. And I kind of can't have one, not for reasons of legality. That's not why. I can't have one of those. And so there you go. So, and Andre, you're saying thorn bushes, cactus, and other sharp plants. Well, I don't really know if a cactus would. I don't know if I could grow a cactus outside, actually, here in the Pacific Northwest. Now that I think about it, but there's already a ton. I've already got a very thorny rose bush right by my front door, and good Lord, Andre, come on, you've been to the Pacific Northwest. You know we have thorny blackberries. Every yard has the thorns. If I need I have thorns. I have thorns. But yeah, oh, absolutely. If he speaks to me and acknowledges me in any way, there will be hell to pay. He just needs to pretend like I don't exist, and I will be fine. I will let him exist in his own little pathetic world, at all. But anyway, I know that when I mentioned my garden, my raised garden bed before, and I was all spitting vicious about my neighbor, and people were like, why do you not like your neighbor? That, my friends, is why I don't like my neighbor. And I think everyone can agree that I have a fairly good reason not to like my neighbor. But I will say, let's see here, call your handy dandy pagan to put a ward on your property and some hex his way. Yeah, Andre, I don't think I haven't thought about that, but I generally don't like to put that kind of hex energy out because, if you know anything about witchcraft, what you put out comes back to you threefold, which is why it's a very idea to practice in the dark, black, negative arts. And so, as tempting as it might be to put a hex on someone, you have to think of your own well-being. If I did what he did, I'd be so ashamed I would have to move. Yeah, the funny thing is no, it's not the ward, it was the hex that I was more worried about, Andre. Terry, honestly, I am tempted to tell his fiance, or maybe it's his wife by now. I am tempted just to tell her, like, do you know what he did while you were pregnant? Do you know? But I figure that would cause huge neighborhood drama as well. And the reason why I say it would cause neighborhood drama is because the people that live across the street from me, i.e. their next door neighbors, they're friends with each other. And the people who live next to me are friends with, it's all, yeah. And do not tell the woman she might be in the throes of a Stockholm syndrome. Well, there's that. And also, actually, because you never know when it comes to people and their significant other being threatened. Like, I actually feel like my gut instinct tells me that if I brought charges or told her, either way, the fiance's reaction... Now, I have no basis for this, but my gut instinct tells me her reaction would be defensive, and she would accuse me of trying to get with her man. She would view me as a threat, to her man, which is true. I think she would think I was trying to go after him, which is totally not. But yeah, it's hard to say exactly. But yeah, it's all messed up, and exactly, Pinnell, who knows really what she's going through, if he's like that to people he doesn't know. Right, exactly. Darlene, exactly. My vindictive, like, fantasy world is, oh yeah, I would tell her, but like, no, don't tell her, like you say. I don't think it would go well, neither do I, and she would end up blaming me. She just would. I don't, is there any logical reason why she would blame me? No, but I think we all know that is absolutely on the table for an option of what might happen if I did tell her. And hey, Mitchie Mama, good to see you. And by the way, it's great to see you back on the Secret Scroll Cinema these days too. I know you used to lurk, but it's nice when I get to see your name on there too. So let's see here. Yeah, domestic stuff can be really messed up, especially with messed up people. Exactly. And yeah, I am definitely, exactly, Terry, I am definitely not Jolene at all. I do not want your man. There's not one element of anything that I want your man for. Because you've got a really crummy man. Crummy man, I mean. I mean, he was crummy before he was with you. He has, I mean, geez Louise. So, yeah, so anyway, yeah, so that's, in the last 6 or so months, that's one of the things that's been going on in my life. And then, of course, there was their stroke that we, that we all heard about in May. And let's see, Cola T, domestic situations. Our next door neighbors fight all the time. Husband and wife yelling at each other, slamming doors late at night. He's a minister. That doesn't really surprise me at all. And not to excuse that kind of behavior, but honestly, though, you kind of almost, I would think you would almost expect a minister's house to have that kind of tension, because he's a minister. He is literally on a pedestal. He is supposed to be, he's only human, right? But the image of a minister, you kind of have to be perfect. Your family has to be perfect. Your wife has to be perfect. And when perfect doesn't happen, because we're all human, tensions rise, right? I cannot make it clear enough, because I'm not making it clear at all. I am not justifying the arguing that couple is doing. I'm not saying it's acceptable. No, I'm not. But what I am saying is, yeah, minister, that doesn't actually surprise me at all. There's a lot of pressure to be perfect in that. And, yeah, exactly, Pinnell. Those guys sneak up on women all perfect at first. Yeah, yep. And, yeah, there's neighbors, then there's neighbors. Exactly. And, I don't know what you're talking about, but I know that cheaters will cheat. It's like a bad habit. Yeah, exactly, Mitchie Mama. We're not talking about cheating, but my neighbor made some pretty untoward sexual advances to me in a non-consensual way, while his wife or his fiance was pregnant, and he's kind of a crummy dude because of that, in my opinion. And let's see here. There was the famous case of the minister in Tennessee who was routinely beating his wife. She blew him away with a 12 gauge. Nice. Did she get in Did she get in trouble? Because that's the type of thing where it's just like, oh, honey, turnabout is fair play. And after 21 years of your fists, well, I guess a 12 gauge 21 years later, yeah, that's turnabout. And I know, way oogie. Yeah, way oogie. Yeah, it was. But unfortunately, where it happened, I was the only witness. He was the only witness. There was no cameras. It's all he said, she said. So it's probably going to go unreported, but, whatever. And let's see here. I like the neighbor who I do not have to talk to and do not make problems. That's the neighbor that I thought I was being. That's the neighbor. I mind my business, dude. I might not mow my lawn as often as everybody wants, but I don't care if you do. You can have parties until 4 a.m. I'm not the one calling the cops. You can do whatever. I'm not, you light fireworks. It's illegal. I'm not going to call the cops. Oh, you've got, 14,000 beat up trucks and cars in your lot across the street from me, and you look like a junkyard, and I know that you've got a rat infestation because I see my cats going hunting there all the time, blah, blah, blah. I'm not reporting you to anybody. I mind my own business, man. I don't see, once my property line ends, I don't pay attention to what's going on there. Unless that's actually not true. I pay enough attention where I know who's supposed to be there. And I would if somebody was like, whoa, that's not a car I recognize, and why are they trying to break into somebody's house? I would notice that. I'm just saying, when it's actually, standard stuff, I don't see it. It's not my business. I'm not paying attention, And Mitchie Mama, lock my doors at night. Oh, I've already had to do that. Oh, honey, I've already had to do that for a different reason. Didn't I ever tell you about the Russian prowler in my neighborhood? This kid, well, he's not really a kid. He was in his early 20s. We have this Russian family. They had 12 kids. He was the second to the oldest. He broke into everybody's house in this neighborhood. He was a prowler, and he would just break in, and he would just steal little stuff. like the change in your you know in your ashtray, or just little things. Never enough that it would get him in trouble, and also never really enough of something that you were quite sure you'd been robbed. It was kind of a mind that he would do, but ultimately when he finally got arrested, the neighbors got together, and he'd basically broken into all of our houses and prowled them at night at some point. Sometimes when we were in the house, sometimes not. I was proud when I was in the house. I didn't like that. And do I have an alarm system? No, Polity, I do not. And yeah, exactly. Andre, you're a good neighbor. You know I do not ever think about calling the cops unless I'm trying to create the story first before a moment of self-defense. Right, there you go. Now, I will admit I did actually have to call 911 once, but that was because someone overdosed in my house. And before you're like, oh no, what drug crazing thing was she, did they? Yeah, it was booze. They OD'd on booze. I didn't know it. I had no idea that they were, anyway. Yeah, they drank like a half a gallon of booze in like 10 minutes or whatever. I wasn't at the house at the time, but when I got back, anyway, so they OD'd. I didn't know what they were ODing on. I didn't know if they were ODing or if they were having a stroke or if they were having a heart attack. I didn't know at all. So I actually did have to call 911 then. But other than that, oh no, I called 911 another time because my neighbor and this was valid. My neighbor behind me, I heard him punch through a window and scream, and then he was like, oh my God, somebody help me, I'm bleeding out, call 911. And so I didn't know if he was alone or not, and so I called 911 because when you hear glass breaking and someone scream and then they say, I'm bleeding out, someone call 911, I thought that was the way to do it. I thought it was a good idea. And Andre, tell me about it. But here's the real creepy part. So Andre says, man, your house is so small. He had a lot of guts to try to prowl in such a small place. Honey Bunches, not only did he prowl in such a small place, he went into my bedroom where I was. And I know that because the only reason why I even know that someone prowled my house is because a few days later, I noticed that my cat door had been blocked with a bunch of boxes, which is something I would never do. But some of those boxes had been in my bedroom. So it's not like the boxes just accidentally fell and then got kicked in front of the cat door. Those boxes were transported from my bedroom to the kitchen while I was asleep. Yeah. And, and Andre, calling 911 is not calling the cops. It may be the fire department or ambulance if medical emergency. That is true. That being said, when you have somebody OD'd in your flippin' living room, trust me, the cops come. 5 different police agencies responded to that call. It was almost funny. And unfortunately, I couldn't tell them at the time because I didn't know at the time that it was just alcohol. It wasn't until later on when I picked him up from the hospital that the nurse was just like, oh yeah, it was alcohol. And they had him on an IV of saline solution, but they also had on an IV of vitamin like B12 or whatever. And you can tell the vitamin B12 because it's like bright yellow. And they give him the vitamin B12 to help them not be so hungover, to just help the come down or whatever. So he's all passed out still, and the nurse is telling me what's going on. And so I look up at the vitamin B12 and I said, is that vitamin B? And she's like, yeah. I was like, I don't really know if he needs that. And she smiled and she's like, I don't think he does either. And so she just turned it off because the reason, and she knew why. I knew what it was for, and she knew I knew what it was for. I wanted him to suffer when he woke up. I wanted him to have a hangover. It was just, I was like, this, you don't get to drink half a gallon of booze and then just get the spa hangover a cure treatment. No. You need to suffer, my friend. And I think that the nurse felt that way as well. So there you go. And let's see here. Well, you don't want to have anyone OD in your house because they OD'd to death. You need to report that to the cops for your own good. Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah. Well, and he wasn't dead yet, but I didn't know why he wasn't responding. Why, I didn't know. And let's see here. Hold on though. All right. So wait. Young couple, says Mitchie Mama, unmarried, moved in across me. Early one morning, I saw a blonde Holly girl exit while I was throwing the trash. I immediately assumed he was cheating on the Asian girlfriend whose parents owns the unit. Months later, I met her again with other people and found out she's the sister. Oh, shoot. Yeah, glad you kept your mouth shut. Yeah, totally, dude. But I would have thought the same thing. And you had to laugh about the loud girl who was scouted out by four cops yelling at the cops the whole time. Oh, well, sometimes the cops deserve to be yelled at. And let's see here. Terry in Scotland, on Bainey Bo's suggestion, you put a Ring camera above my door. The kids that had been knocking on my door saw that camera and decided to cease and desist. Yeah, that is a good plan. And, honestly, I probably should get a Ring camera because they're Ring doorbell cam because they're super easy. But I kind of resent that everyone's on. I don't want to be part of the closed caption TV, the closed circuit television. I don't want to be part of that crowd, man. Like everybody's on. Oh, I just get off my lawn. I just want to be back in the old timey days where we don't have to videotape everything. And I guess I don't mean videotape because it's not tape, but you know what I mean. Yeah, exactly, Andre. OD in my house and pay said price. Molly says, well, yeah, because at the time, by the way, I was a drug dealer. Granted, it was only weed, but at the time I was a drug dealer. I didn't really appreciate 5 different law enforcement agencies coming to my house. And I certainly didn't appreciate the law enforcement agency that for 2 weeks decided to stake my house out. They parked across the street from my house and watched my house 24/7 for like a couple weeks. And it was just like, this is... I wanted to go and knock on their windows and say, it was booze, y'all. It was booze. This isn't some sort of flippin' smack house. It was booze. It was bourbon. It was early times bourbon. And, I knew a street guy who passed away from alcohol poisoning. He was indigenous and always told me who called the cops. The neighbor did. And I was not the one who called the cops. The neighbors did. Right, yeah. Wait, hold on. I'm skipping things. Pinnell says, I knew a street guy who passed away from alcohol poisoning. He was indigenous and always told me that he was a shaman. So sad. There we go. Yes, that is absolutely a bummer, dude. Did he die from alcohol poisoning or did he die from just alcohol consumption? Because that's what... My dad didn't OD on alcohol in an acute sense, but he OD'd on alcohol in a chronic sense. He was such a bad alcoholic that, that's what killed him. And Andre, I got held up in my driveway, pistol whipped, and chased the guy to the getaway car, and I was not the one who called the cops. The neighbor did. Right, now see, Andre, I would have called the cops in your situation, but it's nice that the neighbors were looking out for you. Right, see, now, that's the kind of thing that even though I don't see what's going on in my neighbor's yard because I'm out of my business, if I saw that, you better believe I'd be the first one to be calling 911, calling the cops. Absolutely. And Terry, yours is just a motion sensor monitor. It records any motion. Oh, okay. So that might be a nice little in between. And yeah, Darlene, this is exactly it. All of my neighbors all around have cameras and they overlap each other, so we feel we do not need to get one. Oh, there you go. You're already monitored. Exactly. One neighbor who is a decent has stated they can see your back and all across the front into the main road. Right, there you go. Perfect. So yeah, you don't need to be part of the camera situation. Although I do have to say, some of the Ring cams and things that, doorway cams, they capture some kind of cool random stuff. I don't know if you heard about this, but there's this north of here, there's an island called Whidbey Island, and like last week, I think it was, maybe it was the week before, a house that was illegally storing like hundreds of pounds of fireworks exploded, and the neighbor's Ring camera caught the whole thing. It's kind of cool footage. And Dad put cameras around the house, says Picola T. Then he got an updated video system with new cameras, but he didn't remove the old cameras. Now it looks like there's surveillance on every 10 feet of the house. Quite a deterrent. Nice, exactly. And oh, right on, Andre, the neighbor was smoking a cigarette on the corner right across the street. Wow, dude, that was kind of brazen for that robber must not have noticed there was a witness. And let's see here. Oh, he was drinking the strong stuff that you use in recipes. His friends told me it was from that. Oh, right. Yeah, it's not Everclear. It's this rum, and it's like 5% less than Everclear. It's called Strum or Stra or something like that. Oh God, it's rock good. It tastes awful. I bought some once just because I saw it was in the liquor store, and at the time in Washington, the liquor stores weren't allowed to sell Everclear, and so this was the strongest thing in the liquor store at the time, and I just felt obliged to buy it because it was the strongest thing. And let's see here. It does have a speaker, says Terry, I'm assuming of his camera, so you can talk to the folks without opening your door, and it has a loud siren too. Yeah, well, I don't mind. I can open my door and still not have to deal with people because I have metal screen door, like I don't know what they're called, security door, I guess. And so if I open my door, there's still a whole other dead-bolted metal cage screen that you have to go through. But yeah, maybe it's a good idea to get a stupid camera. But you see, it's the stupid cameras that are keeping me from going across the street and egging his cars because everybody has a Ring camera, and I don't want to get charges for this when he deserves the charges. But I have thought about it. I absolutely have. And I know that this is being broadcast all over the interwebs, and I'm confessing all of my evil thoughts. This means I'm not going to do them. The evil plans I am and will continue to perpetrate is I'm feeding the crows in hopes the crows poo. That's all. That's all I'm doing, man. That's all I'm doing is feeding the crows in hopes that they know where to drop their bombs. That's all I'm doing. And also telling everybody on the interwebs that his name is Marcus. I don't know what his last name is, but his name is Marcus. He has a domestic violence charge, and he is a predator. There you go. So, yeah, all right. So now that we are, Pussycat, I can't believe you didn't call the cops. Yeah, you know, if you knew me well enough to know, I generally am not one who's going to call the cops. I just, you know, it comes from half of my life dealing drugs. You just don't bring the cops into it. I'm not saying this is a good mindset to have. I'm not suggesting people live their life like I live my life. I'm just saying this is what it is. Yes, exactly. This is just parody, and it's protected by freedom of speech. And exactly, Pinnell, I do tell them where to poop. Whether or not they listen to me is a different story. And exactly, Darlene, everyone's had thoughts of retribution against someone who's wronged them. Precisely. And that's all they are, is thoughts of retribution. Except for the feeding of the crows in hopes of the poops. You can't, there's no illegal in hoping for poops. As far as I know. But what I do know for certain is we're 15 minutes past our, Andre, there's a little bit of that. Andre's like, is it just me, or when you call the cops, they don't help you and they try to find something on you? It's my paranoia. Yes, that's my paranoia right there. And that is, whether or not that's true, I cannot say. But that is my paranoia left over from when I used to be an outlaw. But now they've made what I was outlawing, all the bad things that I was doing, it's now legal to do them. So, anyway, like I said, I don't know a lot. But one thing I do know is we are basically 15 minutes past our Lono listening break. And before you even ask, no, this song has nothing to do with what we were just talking about. I don't think Lono has any songs. Actually, he does have that Boto Nui song. We're not going to listen to the Boto Nui song. We're going to listen to a different song. We're going to listen to Jerry Santos' song. It's not a Lono tune, but it's Lono doing the Just listen.
remember days we were smiling, when we laughed and sang the whole night long. And I will greet you as I find you, sharing of a brand new song. Last night I dreamt I was returning, and my heart called out to you. Please accept me as you'll find me. Que aloha ku home o kahalu. Que aloha ku home o kahalu. Que aloha ku home o kahalu.
Okay, so, alright, now we're talking about guns. I really don't know. I really don't know much about shotguns at all. I do know the whole cha-chunk chunk is enough. If you hear that and you don't run the other way, you have a death wish, because that should be enough to make your blood run cold and your bowels liquefy as far as I'm concerned. But, okay, so 3-inch mag, I'm assuming that means 3-inch magazine is what that means. See, when I said what is that, I actually really I really don't know what you meant. So I'm assuming you meant 3-inch magazine, and then you said larger load, larger shot. And then Andre says something about a 16 gauge, but I never shot. So what is the difference between a 16 gauge, a 12 gauge? What's buckshot? What's turkey shot? What's rock salt is the shotgun load of choice in North Texas. So what, smaller the number, bigger the shot. So like double-aught buckshot is the biggest, is it? 12 per inch, 16 per inch, 20 per inch. Oh. Okay. But what about, isn't there a double-aught buckshot? Or am I making that up? Because I feel like I've heard that phrase before. And then, pellet is the word you're looking for. Okay. And 10 gauge is the biggest. So that would be the double-aught, I guess, probably, right? Bigger pellets shot with smaller gauge numbers. Okay, and then, yeah, Carly has a small 410 shotgun. My choice of protection is Kylo. He's better than a shotgun. Well, yeah, for sure. If I had my choice of protections, I would have a cougar. Don't you think you would just, if you were a robber and you were going into somebody's house and you were met with the growl and call of a wildcat, don't you think you would just poop your pants? No gauge is the gun diameter? I don't know what that means. For a lot of reasons. Not only in what you were probably meaning, but also the context in which you are. Pellets are the projectile. No gauge is the gun diameter. Oh. Okay. Gauge is the barrel diameter. Okay. 10 gauge is rough. You have shot one. All right. And then, let's see here. Pinnell, an ex-boyfriend of mine offered to teach me how to shoot a Magnum. He used to run guns over the border for the choice. What? Well, Pinnell. What is the choice? Tell me more about this. Tell me more about this gun smuggler. What is the choice, actually? I don't know what that is. Is that like a gang? And trailed us. No, the closest we got to food talk was we talked about broccoli haircuts again for a second. But that's about all we got to. And then you missed the very special episode of Chatter with Statter, and why I explained why I don't like my neighbor. But we're not going to get into that. You can rewatch and find out why. A 12 gauge with a single slug has a good kick. Yeah, I bet. And oh my, I always thought 306 referred to shotguns, but I was wrong. What is a 3006? 3006. All right. Yeah, we definitely had a different Satan's Choice Motorcycle Gang. His brothers ran the Windsor chapter. Got it. Okay. All right. There we go then. Interesting. And I'm reminiscing the days I hung out with Bonnie Parker. 30-06 is a rifle round. Oh, okay. And broccoli haircuts sound like high fiber. Well, I don't know about that, but a 30-06, it's a common round, but it's a bullet you used to shoot in competition. Okay, all right, there you go. All right, well, hey, how about this, you guys? Because we still do have about 20 minutes left, and we haven't done... Before we do this, let's do this. All right, you guys. Am I the only one who thinks that the Mediterranean Sea isn't that big? Like, for some reason in my head, I didn't think that the Mediterranean Sea was that big. I don't know why, but this is the Mediterranean Sea, and to me it just doesn't look that big. But you guys, if you put the Mediterranean Sea in the United States, this is how much space it would take up. It would take the entire United States. So see, now we have a map. I know, it's big. I know, Andre. I know that now. My map, I had to map it with the maps to make the maps make sense. And we hadn't talked about food yet, but I thought I would throw in a map. Now, we don't have to talk about this, but at least we have a map. We did a map, and there we go. But yeah, did you know that? Like, it totally, like, it takes up basically the entire of the United States of America, and then well into bits of Canada as well. Who knew? Right, exactly, Darlene. It's big when it's shown this way. Doesn't it seem like when it's in, Andre, it connects a whole bunch of seas, totally. But the Mediterranean itself is just this one, apparently, I guess. And yeah, when it looks like this, wait, there we go. When it looks like this, it doesn't seem that big. But when it looks like this, it seems way bigger. And hey, Jay, good to see you, Jehovah's Angel. Yeah, so, that's, I thought that was just neat, and we don't have to talk about that, but I thought I would bring, that, oh, shock, Mercator might be messing with me. Shut up. I want this map. You bring up a good point. You're right. You bring up a good point. Either way, yeah, exactly, Pinnell. Flat maps make everything odd sizes. Well, all right. Maybe that wasn't as cool as I thought it was. But anyway, I at least had a map for you guys. And now we can talk about food. And then we'll have maps and food. And everything else will be, we don't have any, I don't have much whale talk, so no whale talk. But we talked about maps now, and now let's talk about food. Oh, speaking of food, and Rick says Wisconsin gets Mediterranean frontage. Good. Rick, there was someone on the interwebs who made the who made a disparaging comment about Wisconsin. And they said, who even thinks about Wisconsin? Who even says Wisconsin matters? And I wrote, beer and cheese come from Wisconsin. Trust me, people think about Wisconsin. Trust me, Wisconsin matters. And I can't tell you how many people liked my message. So just so you guys know, you might not think Wisconsin matters, but it has beer and cheese. And it does matter. Yeah, the flat maps exaggerated the size area at North and South Poles. Right, yeah, so maybe I'm gonna have to get my my measuring tape out and go to my globe. That'll be the only way to answer this, but I don't have my globe within arm's reach, so we're not doing that tonight. And let's see here. So a Mediterranean cruise must be only part of the Mediterranean. Oh, for sure. A lot of the Mediterranean cruises are just, I'll bet you could get a Mediterranean cruise that's like the whole thing, but that'd be probably like a month-long cruise, right? Most of the little week-long ones, that's just like, Spain and Italy and maybe, Portugal or something. Let's see here. That is true, Midnight Frequency Radio. If Arkansas were gone, there would be a rice shortage. We talked about this here on Chatter with Statter a long time ago. I don't know if y'all remember, but fun fact, Arkansas produces the most rice in the United States. I never would have assumed that Arkansas was where rice came from. I would have thought maybe California, but when you look at it at Arkansas and all the little rivers and tributaries, it totally makes sense. But Arkansas is definitely not like, oh yeah, that's where the rice comes from. That never would have crossed my mind. But that is where the rice comes from, y'all. For sure, it does. You can look it up. And so Rick coming in with facts. The Mediterranean Sea covers an area of about 970,000 square miles. And so, how many square miles does the United States cover? The 48. So, 48 is approximately 3,000,000. Well, yeah, that's still 3,119,885 square miles. Right. So, yeah, Well, if the Mediterranean, and I think it is roughly on the same latitude, then right, but look though, we're going back to the map. But you can see though, right, Rick, right, it's 1/3 of the area for sure, but even in this particular depiction, it's about 1/3 of the area. It's just that it's as wide as, you know what I'm saying? Like it doesn't take up all the United States, but it sure is wide like the United States. And I'm just wondering if this particular map, that's what I'm wondering. Let's try again, shall we? Did they move this image of the Mediterranean Sea over to the United States? And when they did that, did they remain on the same latitude as where it came from? Did they deposit it in the United States on the same latitude? Because if they did, then it's an equal depiction. It's an equally distorted size depiction. I'm going to stop talking because I don't even know if I don't even know if that made sense. So what the heck? Yes, exactly, Mitchie Mama. Mitchie Mama is saying that Arkansas rice is bad due to arsenic, which was used to kill rats. Texas and California has better rice. Yes, and actually it is Arkansas being one of the major producers of rice in the United States and the high arsenic level. That's why they say that eating brown rice is actually not a good idea, because brown rice, and they're talking about medium grain, American grown, has really high levels of arsenic in it. The bran is where the arsenic hole it resides. So the white rice is a lot less arsenic than the brown rice. But basically, back in the day, they're like, oh, brown rice, you got to eat the brown rice. Now they are actually saying, brown rice might not be the best choice. We might have, yeah. So brown rice might not have been as wise of a choice as we originally thought, due to boop-a-doop. Yeah, the Calrose. Yeah, well, Calrose is grown in the Californies. And so, let's see here. Yes, Rick, though, it is too big to drive the Mediterranean in one day. Absolutely. I do not recommend anyone driving the Mediterranean in just one day. If you're going to drive across the Mediterranean, I definitely think you're going to need to book more than one day. And you might need to invent a whole new car. And Shock, looks like the Mediterranean and the U.S. roughly are similar latitude. I thought that they were, which is why I was like, wait, this might not be as bad as we thought. And let's see here. Basmati rice from India has grains twice as long as the so-called American long grain. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And then the native wild rice is what I thought was to be the superior rice. Well, yeah, it's way better. But actually, though, I don't think wild rice is technically rice. It's a different thing. But either way, yeah, it's the best thing for you. But in my neck of the woods, you guys in the Midwest, especially the upper Midwest, probably maybe have a different situation. But here in the Pacific Northwest, getting just wild rice, not like a wild rice mixture, but just the long black grains of wild rice, it's next to impossible to find here in the stores. I know you can always order it, but it's always, wild rice is usually mixed in with regular rice, partially because it's so flippin' expensive. But I really don't like it when it's mixed in with regular rice, because regular rice and wild rice cook in two completely different time frames. And so you either end up with hard wild rice and good regular rice, or mushy regular rice and good hard rice. Okay, good. I'm not making that up. Pinnell and Darlene are coming in. Yes, that is true. Wild rice isn't technically rice. Not a true rice. Okay. And Michi Mama, I love basmati rice. I like basmati rice as well. I don't like jasmine rice, though. Midnight Frequency Radio, your wife uses Thai jasmine. So many people love jasmine rice. I don't like it because, to me, it smells more than it tastes. There's like a negative taste. Jasmine rice not only doesn't taste like anything, it like subtracts taste. It's negative taste. I don't like it. It smells more than it tastes. I don't like it. But I do like basmati rice. That is a yummy rice. But jasmine rice, jasmine rice also though has a lot longer grains than, not as long as basmati, but longer than American long grain. But, oh, right on. It looks like Andre just gifted a bunch of subs. Thank you so much, Andre. And it looks like, are we, okay, all right. Okay, so we are on it. Wow, we're on a level 2 hype train. Golden Kappa train. I don't know what that means, but awesome. Yeah, the Jova, yeah, the smell and texture is nice to you. Dude, so many people love it. And actually, I don't mind the texture either. The texture is quite nice. To me, though, it literally, like, takes flavor away. It's like negative flavor. And when I say negative, I don't mean like bad. I just mean like -1 on the flavor scale. And Andre, thank you so much for those 400 biddies. Yeah, so let's see here. Oh, okay. All right, now that we're talking about rice, you guys, I know that Andy Bumatai thought that this was weird. And Andy Bumatai, if you're here, hello. I'm going to talk about something you thought was weird. But have you guys ever tried any kind of rice, white preferably, but any kind, with butter and soy sauce? Buttered rice with shoyu. You guys ever tried it? So I'll tell you what, if you haven't tried it, you need to try it. Salted butter, not unsalted butter. Salted butter on your rice with shoyu, soy sauce, whatever you want to call it. And Andre, thank you for the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 408 biddies. But yeah, if you ever just have to eat a bowl of rice, butter, and soy sauce, I'm telling you. Yeah, Terry, it's really tasty. I really wish that more people wouldn't look at me weird when I say that that's tasty. It looks like Jehovah's Angels tried it, and looks like maybe it was palatable to them as well. Well, with the emoji. And let's see here, 30 biddies. Thank you, Andre, for giving me, for donating, gifting, whatever we want to say. Thank you for the 30 biddies. Oh, boy. All right, speaking of food, says Darlene, did you see Andy's video? YouTube video of prices of milk at different stores around Hawaii. Wow, the prices are so high. I did see that, and I even commented on it because I thought it was very telling, and I think he said what he said very much on purpose, and I very much caught what he said, because in the intro he said, let's go see which milks are the most expensive and the least expensive, he said. He could have said the most expensive and the cheapest, but he very much did not say the cheapest. He said the least expensive, because ain't nothing in Hawaii that's cheap these days. And exactly, darn words again. And Jova's, yeah, suggest starting light on shoyu and work up amount to taste. I agree. Although to tell you the truth, Jova's Angel, when I use butter and shoyu, I use a lot less shoyu than if I just do shoyu. Like a lot of butter to a little shoyu to me is like the good ratio. But yeah, everybody's got a different ratio, man. And Darlene, you noticed the words he used too. Exactly. Yeah, it was totally a case of the most expensive and the least expensive. But honestly, now, okay, don't get me wrong. Milk in Hawaii is expensive, but the price that he pays for at Longstrug, the cheap price, which he said, I think in a different video, he thinks that they're using it as a loss leader, and I'm guessing that they probably are. For those of you who aren't familiar with what a loss leader is, that's something that the grocery store specifically sells at a price they know will lose them money, but they make up for it because that's what gets you to the store, and then you're going to buy all the other overpriced stuff that they sell. That's the ploy. Anyway, the cheapest stuff, the Long's drug stuff, that's pretty much what milk costs in the Seattle area now. So even though it seemed like really expensive, it was like, well, I mean, the regularly priced stuff, definitely really expensive, but the Walmart and the Long's drug price, it was like, meh. That's actually kind of similar. And I actually have no idea what bread goes for here. So I wasn't able, The price he also showed of bread too, compared to what you pay here. Just wow, that's pricey too. I wasn't able to judge that with Seattle prices because I don't buy. I don't allow myself to have a loaf of bread in the house because otherwise I would just live on buttered toast and cinnamon toast and all these. I just would treat it like candy because I love bread. So I can't. I have no control if there's a loaf of bread in the house. So I don't buy bread. And right, $11. Whoa, for a half a gallon? Yeah, that's way expensive, dude. Wait, where's your cousin live? In Hawaii? That's expensive even for Hawaii. And let's see here. Whoa, Pussycat, did I see that? No, I didn't. The two people who climbed up the Empire State Building to the very top, and then he proposed to the woman who climbed up with, and they were appropriately arrested right after, but they made the news. Wow. No, I did not. And I'm assuming you mean climbed it like on the outside. That seems insane. But boy, will they always remember how they proposed to each other, or vice versa. And yeah, I don't know if they lose money, but they definitely don't make the big profit. Yeah, they might not actually lose it. And let's see here. CVS does not have any loss leader. They are too cheap. The original longs did have loss leaders. This is still longs, but you are right. It is owned by CVS. But it is, I mean, Michi Mama, the price at Longs is noticeably cheaper than every place else. So it might not be a loss, but clearly they are using it as a lure to get people in, right? And let's see here. Jewelry stores use their repair departments to get people in. Oh, okay. And the sourdough bread that I love says Terry in Scotland costs £2 a loaf. Well worth it. Yeah, that sounds super cheap, actually. Let's see here. Hey, we did find something cheap in Hawaii. CVS. Right, there you go. I see what you did there, Michi Mama. That was funny. Milk is $3.74. Wow, that's pretty cheap in comparison to Seattle prices. Yeah, Miles in August is moving here, so I think of him and being alone single, it's going to be pricey for him to eat. Yeah, for sure. Midnight Frequency Radio, bread is $1.99. Yeah, well, I mean, bread is sort of a hard thing to compare prices on because, you've got like Dave's Killer Bread, which is like $8 a loaf, but then you've got Bobo Brand Generic, which is, $1.79 a loaf. But the quality of the bread is so different that, it's, I don't know. But let's see here. Long's brought Andy in, but it's really a drugstore. Right, yeah, exactly. It is a drugstore. And Beatty Bo's milk is $1.25 per pint. That's kind of expensive, actually. And milk is $3 a gallon at Walmart. Yeah, milk is almost $7 a gallon at Walmart in Hawaii, according to this latest video that Andy just posted. It was like $6.98 a gallon or something like that. So, alrighty, you guys. So, we basically paid no attention to any of the normal protocol and timing that we normally have on this show. So, it shouldn't be at all surprising that we are 3 minutes past the bottom of the hour, which means I need to shut the flying fork up. So, I want to thank you guys for coming today. I want to thank the mods for being here. I want to thank all of the biddy givers of the... let's try that one more time. I want to thank all the people who donated biddies. I want to thank Andre for donating the gift subs. And I want to thank you all for letting me bare my soul about my neighbor. And I want to thank all of the supportive words that you all gave, and the willingness to want to go fight for the things that need to be fought for, and maybe poop on his neighbor's deck or whatever. Or I'm sending the birds. You don't have to go poop on the neighbor's deck. That's weird. But anyway, it's really not what I meant to say. So, thank you so much for hanging out today is basically what I'm trying to say. And let's see here. Jova coming in with total truth. Costco built its own facilities for hot dogs and rotisserie chicken so it can keep costs down and eke out profit margins super low for the loss leader. That's exactly it. That's 1,000%. Yeah, the Costco rotisserie chicken is totally their loss leader. They admit it. And the hot dogs, I don't know if it's really a loss leader, but they've bent over backwards to keep that price point the same as when Costco opened in the 80s. So yeah, they had to build their own facilities for that. And let's see here, Darlene bragging that she's got herself an Aldi's. We don't got those out here. That's close to what the milk is here. Our Aldi's store, we found the most reasonably priced milk, especially the lactose-free milk that I buy, only $2.99 a half gallon. At the other stores, it's $3.99 a half gallon for lactose-free milk. Yeah, no, dude, totally. That's exactly it. Let's see here. Okay, so apparently I got a thing. What? Oh, those. All right, weird. Anyway, all right. So, Puzzy Cat. Yes, that's exactly it. I will be keeping an eye on the creep. I try not to think about him, but I can't help but keep an eye out for him. And yeah, so there we have it, you guys. So I want to thank you for putting up with a very special episode of Chatter with Statter. Yes, there we go. All right, you guys. We'll see each other hopefully on Saturday, 6 p.m. West Coast time. Hopefully you will be out doing something on the 4th of July and having fun. But if you're not, come on in. We'll be watching Quiz Lady. It's a funny little show about some sisters who have to get a bunch of money to pay off their mom's gambling debt. So there we have it, Rabbit, starring Awkwafina and Sandra Oh. Alrighty, so take care. Enjoy the rest of your week. We'll see each other in the Secret Squirrel location. You know, Map Statter. That's it. Take care, y'all. Have a good one.